What is Graves' disease? Graves' disease is an autoimmune condition. It happens when your body's own self-defense system can't tell the difference between your own cells and foreign cells. In essence, the body attacks normal, healthy cells instead of protecting them. It is an autoimmune disease that causes the thyroid to become overactive, therefore producing too much thyroid hormone, which affects all the systems. It is most commonly found in women from the ages of 30 to 50, but it really can affect anyone. So if you have Graves' disease, these are 5 things to avoid. Okay, so you want to avoid caffeine. That means coffee, even teas, unless they are herbal teas that are naturally decaffeinated. This also includes sodas and other beverages that have been enhanced with caffeine. The next thing, number 2, to avoid is sugar. Actually, let me go back to the caffeine. The reason you want to avoid caffeine is because it increases your heart rate, right? It has it pumping too much. And as you know, if you have Graves' disease, your heart is constantly being overworked. Your heart rate is always up or often up. So try to avoid anything that's going to elevate it even more. So then I said number 2 was sugar. It causes a lot of inflammation. In general, carbs are bad if you're trying to eliminate Graves' disease or reverse it. So cutting out sugar will help you a lot. Sugar also causes your heart rate to go up because your blood levels, your sugar levels go up, and it has to kind of pump through your body a lot faster. So you want to avoid that. The next thing would be gluten. That means anything that has wheat in it. So pasta, bread, muffins, cakes. There are gluten-free alternatives that you can use. Almond flour. There's also gluten-free. It's like a wheat flour, but they've removed the gluten from it. I've seen it before. I've never tried it. If you can, try to bake some of your own breads at home. This way you know it's preserved. It has less preservatives. It doesn't have as much sugar, and it doesn't have gluten. Because often things might say, or you think they're gluten-free, but because in a factory they were made somewhere where wheat was also processed, you could introduce some gluten into your system. Number 4 is heat. What I mean by heat, even though you should sit outside because you'll get some vitamin D, you don't want to sit out for prolonged periods of time because you could overheat. You don't want to exercise too hard because it'll cause your heart rate to go up, but also cause you to get hot. The other day I was outside and I was doing a little too much work and I overheated. I had to come back in immediately because I could feel my heart rate advancing, so I needed to come back in and cool down a little bit. So try to avoid heat. That includes going to the beach and staying there for too long, going for a jog at the park, playing outside, chore work, doing your chores, even being inside and just doing too much. Avoid it. If you have to get things done, do a little at a time. I cleaned out my basement earlier in the summer and I did it over a few days. I didn't do it all in one day because it was going to be too much work. And number 5, which is probably the biggest culprit, and I think that's for most illnesses, most diseases, and that's stress. Yes, stress. Try to eliminate stress. Sometimes you can't. I mean, we all live in a world of things that are going on. So try to do things that bring down your level of stress. Maybe you can get people to help you. Try meditation, yoga, taking a walk, swimming, as long as you're not swimming too hard because you don't want to get your heart rate elevated. Reading. There's a lot of different things that you can do that can help you reduce stress. Prayer, if you're someone who likes to pray. Right, all of those things bring a lot of peace into your life. Even just sitting outside under a shady tree for a little while you could really benefit. Those are my top 5 things to avoid when you have Graves' disease. Please leave a like and subscribe. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone else. Thank you so much for coming with me on my journey to better. I hope this is your journey to better too.